I felt pretty good when I left the dealership. They were the proud owners of a Prius hybrid, and I was the thrilled owner of a new Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT. I stopped at a traffic light and sat there with a huge, silly grin on my face. I knew what I was going to do. When the light turned green, I pressed the gas pedal. The supercharged 6.2-liter Hemi roared, and I launched it until it moved off the spot. I brought it down to the legal limit, and the smile became permanent. When I pulled into my driveway, I didn't park it in the garage. In a minute, I was going to drive it again. I walked inside and smelled something cooking. It smelled like spaghetti. I never really liked spaghetti. It was good that I had plans. I didn't shout, "I'm home," as usual. I just went upstairs, changed into my golf clothes, grabbed my clubs from the closet, and headed for the front door. Rachel came out of the kitchen as I was heading to the front door. "Charles, where are you going? Whose car is that? Dinner is almost ready. Why are you dressed like that, and why do you have golf clubs?" "Well, dear, I'm going to play golf. That's my car. These are my golf clothes, and the clubs are for playing golf." She stared at me as if I had lost my mind. "You never mentioned anything about playing golf. What about dinner?" "I'll have dinner at the country club," I told her. "Enjoy your meal." I heard her voice just as I was closing the door. "What do you mean, that's your car?" I didn't have time to answer trivial questions, so I continued on my merry way. My phone started ringing almost immediately, so I turned it off. I arrived at the country club, enjoyed a very pleasant dinner with Ralph and Pete, and played 9 holes. I hadn't played in a long time, and it showed. By the time we finished, I was getting back into the groove and felt better for the next time. We agreed to play on Saturday morning, had a couple of beers, and I headed home. I knew a real storm was brewing at my house. I parked the SRT in the garage and went inside. A very angry-looking Rachel was sitting in her chair, watching TV. Lightning flashed from her eyes, and her eyebrows shot up. "What the hell is wrong with you, Charles?" Thunder roared from her lips. "Absolutely nothing," I said. "What the hell is wrong with you?" This rebellion seemed to take her by surprise. I should mention that I'm not usually inclined to argue. I'm a calm guy. If I don't care about something, I stay silent. I don't care about the color of the kitchen appliances. She wants stainless steel instead of black. As long as we can afford it, I don't care. It's stainless steel. I'm sure she took my general lack of opinion as a lack of will. In some ways, I was probably to blame. Not anymore. For a moment, she looked at me in surprise. "What the hell is wrong with me?" She practically hissed. "You come home driving this gas-guzzling monster. Tell me you're going to play golf, skip the dinner I cooked, and you have the nerve to ask me what's wrong?" I thought about it for a moment. "Yes," I said calmly. "Yes? What do you mean, yes?" She was practically foaming at the mouth. "Yes, I do have the nerve to say that." Her face turned blotchy and red. "Are you drunk, Charles? Are you on drugs or something?" "I had a couple of beers at the country club, but no drugs. Do you have any meds you want me to take?" She seemed at a loss for words but quickly recovered. Maybe you need to take some antipsychotic medication." She walked over and opened the door from the kitchen to the garage. The car must have made an impression on her. "Nice car?" She snorted. "Are you having some kind of midlife crisis?" I thought about it for a moment. "Yes." "Yes, what?" she demanded. "Yes, I'm having a crisis, and I suppose 41 can be considered middle-aged." "Well, what's the matter?" she demanded. "What do you mean, what's the matter? That's a pretty vague question. What crisis?" She seemed very irritated. "That's a secret." "So, you're having a crisis and keeping it a secret from me?" She seemed unable to believe it. "No," I said. "Stop being an ass," she shouted. "What do you mean, no?" "I'm not keeping it a secret from you." She threw up her hands. "I'm not going to waste my time. What is that ridiculous toy doing in our garage? And where's the Prius?" I traded it for the SRT. I didn't like the Prius, but I like the SRT. "We agreed that the Prius is eco-friendly and economical," she said. "It's the kind of car responsible people drive." You need to think about how you'll look parking that monster in your work spot. All the executives drive hybrids. What will they think when they see you driving this dinosaur? Envy. We agreed on the Prius, she cut off. No, I never agreed, I said. I just went along with it because it's what you wanted. Is that so? She said sternly. Don't you care about my happiness anymore? Tomorrow you're taking it back and getting the Prius. No. She acted as if she had no idea what the word no meant. What do you mean, no? I'm not taking it back and I'm not getting the Prius. She paused, looking hurt. 3 days ago, I might have cared. What is wrong with you, Charles? I've decided I like being called Chuck. From now on, you should call me Chuck. Her mouth fell open, and she seemed speechless. I appreciated that. I went upstairs to shower and get ready for bed. When I came out into the bedroom, a pillow and blanket were at the foot of the bed. You'll be sleeping in the guest room, she said. You're acting like a spoiled child, and don't expect me to sleep with you. I paused for a moment and then pulled back the blanket. Her eyes bulged as I started to lie down. What the hell do you think you're doing? Going to sleep. I told you, you're not sleeping here. Yes, I heard you. My hearing is fine. Don't tell me where I can sleep. This is my side of the bed. The other side belongs to you. I won't cross onto your side. It's only fair to tell you that you shouldn't cross onto mine either. She defiantly rolled onto my side. I yanked the blanket from her hands and pinned her down before lying on top of her. She desperately tried to push me away. I weighed 95 kilograms. She weighed 54 kilograms. She failed. Get off me, you idiot. She tried to slap me, but I caught her hand. This is my side, I told her. Your side is over there. You're not welcome on my side. I lifted myself slightly, and she rolled onto her side. Then she started crying. What's wrong with you, Charles? She sobbed. What happened to you? Why are you treating me like this? There is no Charles, I told her. Only Chuck. I told you I like being called Chuck. I thought you liked being called Charles, she cried. No, you liked calling me Charles, I said. I never liked it. I just went along with it for you. Why don't you want me to be happy? I don't think you respect me. I think the reason you don't is that I've spent all my time trying to make you happy. I'm done with that. Now I'm going to make myself happy. If you're happy because I'm happy, great. If not, too bad. She made a quiet sobbing sound. What happened? Yesterday you were the best husband in the world. Today you're a bastard. It actually took 3 days, not just one. She stared at me, looking like one of those baby birds waiting for its mother to feed it. I don't have any worms for you, I told her. She looked at me as if an alien had taken over my body. Worms? What the hell is wrong with you? Are you sick? The answer to the first question is complicated, I said after a moment's thought. The answer to the second question is yes. She paused for a moment. You're sick? Yes. What's wrong with you? What kind of illness makes you trade your beautiful car for a gas-guzzling monster? How sick can you be if you can go play golf and drink beer? It's a heart problem, I told her. She looked confused. Do you have blocked arteries or an irregular heartbeat? How does your behavior relate to a heart condition? It's not exactly an illness. I had a change of heart, something like a transplant. Are you going to tell me what's going on? I found out 3 days ago that you're a cheater. All the love in my heart died and was replaced with a heart like yours. Now I care about myself and don't care about you. What did you call me? She demanded. Maybe you should consider getting your hearing checked. Did I stutter? No, you were perfectly clear, she said. I don't know what bug you've got up your ass, but you better get it sorted. You just accused your wife of being a cheater and a crap. I don't like to think of it as an accusation. It's more like stating a fact, I explained. What the hell are you talking about? She practically screamed. No need to shout. I'm right here, I said. I'm talking about your little hotel date with Alan and Marcy Baker. Her face went pale. What? How? I don't understand what you're talking about. Do you know who our president is? What day is it today? She just stared at me. Someone's having a troubling short-term memory loss, possibly post-stroke. I took out my phone and opened the chat. The evidence was saved in the chat and on my phone. I wasn't going to tell her where else it was recorded. There were photos, large and lifelike. Rachel, between the two of them, entering room 177 at the Dorchester Hotel. She was kissing Marcy while Alan had his hand on her rear. "Where did you get this?" she asked. "McLean sent it to me," I said. "I'm pretty sure he sent it to Lonnie as well. They are very upset. McLean is our son, and Lonnie is our daughter." She gasped. "McLean? He saw. You're lying. You got them from somewhere else." I showed her the picture taken by McLean. "No, he was there, dropping off a client, when he saw you go in. He just wanted to say hi. Imagine his surprise at your little date." I like that word, don't you? It wasn't. Oh God. "What are you going to do, Charles?" "Charles isn't going to do anything," I said. "Chuck is already handling it. He's already arranged fatal accidents for the three of you." She stared at me in fear for a minute. She probably thought I wasn't joking. "Seriously, what are you going to do?" "Nothing," I said. "I hired a few of my friends to handle everything. Alan and Marcy will die tomorrow. I'll wait until next Wednesday for you. I suppose, since Alan and Marcy are going to work tomorrow, their airbags will malfunction. They'll deploy, causing a car accident. Of course, by then, the airbags will deflate. Mario is sure the crash will be fatal. It's well known that Priuses don't do well in crash tests. That's why I got rid of mine." She stared at me with her mouth open for a minute. It wasn't a very attractive look. She gathered as much composure as she could after this sinister revelation. Strangely, she seemed indifferent to the likely demise of her sex buddies. Selfish, I thought. "What about us?" She managed to get out. "Oh, well, there is no us now. Of course, I'm divorcing you. You'll be served at work tomorrow. Do you think the company will mind? 3 of their employees involved in a tryst? God, I love that word. A tryst leading to a divorce and being served papers at work might create some awkwardness there. I doubt Holton Fisk will appreciate the drama, considering he's a big man in the church and all. I wonder if they'll allow Alan and Marcy to have a church funeral." This elicited a strange, distorted wail from Rachel, sounding eerily like some peacocks in the zoo. I turned off my light. "Good night, Rachel," I said. "I wonder if I'll get both halves of the bed in the divorce." She lunged onto my side of the bed and clung to my back like a leech. "I don't want to divorce Charles," she sobbed into my back. I didn't respond. "Charles?" She held me tighter. "Charles, I don't want a divorce." Silence. She peered over my shoulder. "Charles?" I looked at her. "There is no Charles," I told her, "and you're on my side of the bed." Then, damn it, Chuck. "Chuck, I don't want a divorce." I rolled over to face her. I didn't want a cheating woman as a wife either, but I got one despite not wanting it. Funny how that works, huh? She didn't seem to share my sense of irony. "Chuck, I'm so sorry," she said. "It was just something I wanted to try. I was curious about what it would be like with another woman." "Me too," I said. "Wow, we have so much in common." I also had the impression that Alan was a man. "Does anyone else know he's not cisgender?" "Don't be ridiculous," she said. "It was a threesome, but I didn't have sex with him, only with Marcy." He just sat in the chair and watched? A non-cisgender voyeur. Pervert. "He was with Marcy while she was with me," she admitted. "Do you realize how absurd this conversation is? What possible twist of imagination could make you think that this helps your case?" She hesitated a bit, but couldn't come up with anything plausible. I was going to give you the same," she finally said. "The same? What does that mean?" I asked. "A threesome with me and Marcy," she said. "You just told me you were curious about being with another woman." "Marcy doesn't interest me," I said. "I was thinking of someone who hadn't slept with half the men in town." "Who were you thinking of?" "What the hell?" Chuck was on a roll. I might as well mess with her mind. Well, Lily has always been at the top of my fantasy list, I confessed. My sister? She screeched. You asked me, I reminded her. Lily was incredibly sexy. Rachel was a walking wet dream. But Lily was all that and more. Blonde, brown eyes, a few freckles on the cutest nose imaginable, and that body. She had the most gorgeous shape. Just looking at her made your tongue hard, not to mention other parts. Her breasts were large, round, and firm, and she had the most delightful butt on the planet. She exuded sensuality from every pore, making men act foolishly when she was around. She was 5 years younger than Rachel and me, had been briefly married in her late 20s to a promising NFL player, but left the bum when he bailed, started drinking, and couldn't keep a job. When Rachel and I were dating in college, Lily was in high school, and she had a crush on me. It was amusing, and I was quite fond of her, but I never acted on it. Yes, I felt the attraction, but I wouldn't have done anything even if I had the chance. I wondered if Rachel would actually go for it and, more importantly, if Lily would. It didn't matter. Rachel was leaving me anyway, but it was a great way to mess with her. I could see the wheels turning in Rachel's head. I'm not going to have a threesome with my sister, she finally said. I shrugged and turned over to sleep. The divorce went as smoothly as possible. Rachel fought it tooth and nail, but divorces can't be dragged out like they used to be. Most people know what happens in a divorce, and it wasn't fun, but Chuck was enjoying life. How do you get rid of your sweetheart? Just take out the trash. Sometimes the trash objects to being taken out, but hey, it happens. I never got that threesome with Lily, though I'm quite content being in a couple. The voluptuous body of this cutie, being the little spoon next to me, doesn't leave room even to dream about a threesome.